Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Buenas tardes, boa tarde. We are here today with Sarah Quigley, the co-founder of Private Travel Iceland. And Sarah's definitely a wonderful country to show up today. And Sarah, the screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Let me just get our presentation up.
We keep the
Thank
question for the end, and you have the Q&A or the chat box. We'll be monitoring it, but we'll keep the question for Sarah when she finishes her presentation.
Perfect.
Sarah.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining. Good afternoon. Probably for most of you, it's good evening here. I'm Sarah, as Dominique said, and I'm based in the UK. It's been a year now since I've been in Iceland, coming up in February because of what's happening. So I'm just going to give you a little glimpse today on activities. So the sort of added things that we can put on a regular day's sightseeing. I thought this is an area that we haven't covered and it'll be a good one to talk about. So before we get going on the activities, I'll just give you a general overview on Iceland. There's this main sort of map there, and the pictures are all leading to the main sort of highlights. First time people to Iceland, we usually focus them on the south and the southwest, Reykjavik and the South Shore area. If people have got a bit longer in time, we'll head them either a little bit further east to Jökulsá and the Glacier Lagoon, or a little bit west. And then people who have been before or are coming for maybe 2 weeks, we'll head them all the way around the island and then up to the north. So here we go. This is a picture of the Diamond Beach. So this is the beach off of the Glacier Lagoon, which is the picture behind Dominique. And these are all the icebergs that come off of the lagoon from the glacier, and they go out to the sea and sort of get washed back up. And it's a black sand beach and these glistening icebergs. It's just stunning. So as you can see, I've sort of highlighted it there with the yellow box where it is in the country. This, like with the picture behind me, are the Icelandic Highlands. So this is Landmannalaugar. This area in Iceland is only open during the summer months because of the snow during the winter. It closes off a lot of the access in Iceland. And again, it's usually sort of June to September. We used one of the super jeeps to access this area. So they're sort of modified 4-wheel drive cars, put on anything from sort of 32 up to 48-inch tires. And they are modified there in Iceland. Landmannalaugar is a great place because the picture there, the picture behind me, looks like a painting, but that's actually how it looks. Stunning if you're liking hiking. It's very remote because not many people can access it because of the super jeep. So it's just a lovely, quiet, peaceful, beautiful place to be. As you can see, they're sort of located right near the middle of the country. This is Thorsmork, another day only accessible by the super jeep. Thorsmork, though, you can do all year round. This picture there, I thought I'd focus now as we're sort of in the middle of winter and starting to think about summer and that light at the end of the tunnel. So I've added all summer pictures in today. Thorsmork was actually created after the eruption in Iceland. And where the lava came out, it cleared the valley, and this is the valley that it made. So it's glacier rivers running down through to the ocean, and in the background there, you've got the glacier. There's lots of secret hidden waterfalls in caves and canyons, and you can do some really good driving through the glacier rivers with your guide. We usually stop for a barbecue, do some hiking to the top, and the views are just absolutely stunning. So that's just sort of before the Highlands and just a bit north of from the South Shore of Iceland. This is one of the famous waterfalls on the South Shore. This is Skogafoss waterfall, and that freezes over in the winter there. And that's just there on the south coast as well. And then we've got on the Golden Circle, which is the day that most tourists come and view in Iceland. It's a shame because it is obviously the most touristy place, so it is the busiest, but it does offer some of the most amazing scenery. So we don't always want to sort of skip it out on people's itinerary. So that's Gullfoss waterfall in the summer months, and again in the winter it freezes over, but it's just as spectacular. And then the Golden Circle there is made up of Gullfoss, Geysir and Thingvellir, the three sort of main sites of that sightseeing day. This is Slangerfoss. As you can see in the background, you're overlooking the ocean, so it's on the south coast, and it's a waterfall that you can walk all the way around. So don't forget to bring your waterproofs, otherwise you will get wet. And that's just further along from Skogafoss on the south coast. This is Kirkjufjell, which is in the west fjords of Iceland on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Beautiful place in the winter to see the northern lights because there's not much light pollution. And again, in the summer, beautiful waterfalls, amazing scenery, and some good walking and hiking there. And that's there based on the Western Peninsula. And then obviously, just I briefly mentioned, we're in the season now at the moment for Northern Lights. We sort of recommend for clients, Northern Lights run September through to April. I've been in Iceland in August and they've been in full view. So it's one of those things that you can never guarantee, unfortunately, but during the winter months, we do include them in the itinerary, and it's a private tour with the guide. And what they'll do is just assess the situation, speak with the clients, and decide if they're going to wake them up on how far they're going to drive to go and view the lights. But they're absolutely spectacular. So the main purpose of today's presentation was to talk about activities. So if you're doing the Golden Circle, or the South Shore, or Thorsmork, or any of those sort of full sightseeing days, we can add in, we like to just add one per day, so nothing's rushed and we still get to enjoy the scenery, one sort of activity. And there's a great range of activities there in Iceland that we can sort of cover. In this picture, we've got snowmobiling, ice walking and climbing, which can be done all year round. Then we've got Into the Glacier, which is a tunnel that's been made into one of the glaciers in Iceland, where you can walk down and see all the different layers of the glacier. And then the bottom left picture, we've got snowboarding, which is heli skiing. So that's done at the end of sort of the European ski season. So we sort of look May, June time. And that's done up in the north near Depler Farm. It's a great base to be if you want to do that. We've got some water-based activities. So kayaking and whitewater rafting, they are more summer-based activities. Whale watching is all year round, but it's quite choppy in the winter months. So I would recommend it's better to do it in the summer months. We have sort of different size boats. We've got anything from a small rib boat, which we can do scheduled on sort of 16 people. You can take the whole boat out privately. Those get a bit closer to the animals, and then also in the summer months you can see the puffins with those. Or you've got the big sort of larger vessels which are out for longer times, and obviously it's sort of less chance of seeing them because you're so much further away. Then we've got diving and snorkeling. This is done in Silfra, which is the where the two tectonic plates meet on the Golden Circle day. And they say it's the clearest water in the world. So that's inland diving. It's dry suit diving, so you do need to be experienced and have logged a certain amount of dives throughout the past sort of year. Otherwise, you'll have to take a course, or you could just do snorkeling instead. We've got access to a Harper yacht, that yacht there, which we can take out in the Reykjavik harbour. That can be used for numerous things: whale watching, fishing, or we can just look at adding a private dinner or drinks there, because it can be hired anything from sort of 2 hours upwards. So that's a good option for your VIP clients. Wheeled and horse-based activities, we've got ATVing, that's all year round. And then the bottom left picture are these buggies, which are also a really fun adrenaline sort of option. The top right picture is biking, so we can do anything from mountain biking to the fat wheel bike to just a normal city bike tour around Reykjavik. That's summer months because of the weather in the winter. And then horseback riding. So the Icelandic horse is a really unique and special horse that is offered all year round and offered for all levels. So you don't have to worry if your client or yourself has never been on a horse, or if you're an experienced rider, it's absolutely no problems. It's all tailored to meet the needs. Helicopter excursions, these can be done all year round, but obviously you have to remember, like with most things in Iceland, that the weather is in charge. So there's always times where we might have to adjust the itinerary, or the helicopters might not be able to take off. and we sort of might have to flip days around. But the guide always speaks to the clients about that on the ground, and 9 times out of 10 they don't have any problems, and the supplies are really flexible as well. So you can land on a glacier. One of the good places to take a helicopter is to Langmanler, to my backdrop. They can be dropped, clients can be dropped in certain areas, and there can be absolutely no one around. I remember we did it for some clients in the summer months a few years back for a proposal. So the guide went with them. They left them in a place where we'd arranged some champagne and a picnic spot. The helicopter left, and the guy proposed to his girlfriend. She said yes, and they came back about an hour later to collect them, which was amazing, really beautiful. We've got cave-based activities. So there's lots of sort of lava caves that you can go into, and in the winter months we've got ice caves as well. The lava caves are all year round, and then the top right picture is inside the volcano. So this is a really unique experience for Iceland. It's a dormant volcano. For some reason it didn't fold back in itself and stayed upright. So I think it was maybe about 8 years now it's been operating just through the summer months. They're making each year the window a little bit bigger. So we're looking at, it used to be sort of May through to September. Now we're looking April through to October. You hike from a place about 40 minutes outside of Reykjavik in a group. You hike to a base camp, and then the group gets split into about sort of 3-4 smaller groups, and you take it in turns to descend down the tunnel of the volcano until it opens up, and you descend down to the bottom, and then you've got sort of free roam to go and have a look at the colors of where the eruption took place and all the rocks and things, and then you're down there for about 30 minutes and you go back up. So the lift is an open lift. It always reminds me of one of the ones that the window cleaners use on skyscrapers and things. So it's got the sort of wheel bumpers on the side and it comes down. But it's such a unique experience. It's really amazing. If you've got foodies, we've got cookery classes available in Reykjavik, or if clients take a private home, we can send a chef to the house to do cookery classes. Food walking tours in Reykjavik as well. The cuisine in Iceland, since I've been going there over the past 15 years, is just upping its level each time. The ingredients that they're growing there and using, and the ideas that they're coming out with in the fusion food is just phenomenal. It's really beautiful food. And then coming with that is the Icelandic distillery tours. They're opening more and more microbreweries. They're producing now whiskey and gin, and obviously vodka, because that's been one of their lifelines, and then some amazing flavored liqueurs, rhubarbs and sort of different mosses and blueberries and things. So they're good tours that we can offer as well, private sort of distillery tours for clients. They're again open sort of all year round. Puffins, as we mentioned earlier, which we can tie in on the Westman Islands or tie in with the whale watching from Reykjavik. That's just summer months. Fishing again is huge. It's amazing salmon and trout fishing in the rivers, and we can get licenses and lodges and things for that. The bottom right picture is golf courses. So again, obviously that's a summer-based activity. And there's sort of famous events that take place in June where there's 24 hours of daylight, and that offers tea times of sort of up to midnight, and you can golf through the night. And then a recent sort of activity that's just been added to the portfolio is zip lining, which is done down on the South Shore. That is all year round, but again, weather permitting. So if you're based in Reykjavik, there's a lot of art museums, Viking museums, and whale museums, a lot about the culture and the history of Iceland, and up and coming artists and things. There's also an experience which I know is available in another few countries called Fly Over Iceland, which is like a simulator ride, and it takes you through sites. So it might be good for people that maybe want to experience what it would be like in a helicopter but don't have that budget. Or it's also a good activity to include in if the weather's a bit nasty and they're in Reykjavik, because obviously that one will never get cancelled. We've got the famous Blue Lagoon, obviously located near Keflavik Airport. The Blue Lagoon is a geothermal spa. It's great for people with skin conditions, psoriasis and things like that. we tend not to use the main lagoon now because of it was getting so touristy and so busy, even though they do restrict how many are allowed in at what times. What we tend to do is use the Blue Lagoon Retreat, which is the hotel based next door, but they also allow 12 entries into private VIP lockers. So you get your own cabin with a shower room, amenities, you get access to the Blue Lagoon Retreat Spa and a private lagoon there, which is only accessible to these 12 cabins and hotel guests. And you also get access to go into the main lagoon. What we find is most people who go into the main lagoon have a look around for sort of a minute or so and then come back in to the serenity of the retreat lagoon. A new sort of rival thing that's opening to the Blue Lagoon is called the Sky Lagoon in Reykjavik, which is an amazing location, offering the same sort of thing, a geothermal pools, but a bit more sort of rustic. There are other options of the Secret Lagoon as well, which is on the Golden Circle Day, and a few other sort of geothermal pools and things. Or if people wanting a true experience, Langmanlø is a great place just to put your costume in a bag with a towel, get changed out in the wild, go into one literally in nature and get changed and come back out. So that's for more adventurous people. So that's sort of the main overview of all the activities we've got there in Iceland. Obviously, there's loads of other things we can do on special request. The joy of Iceland is the population is 350,000 people. So everybody knows somebody who can do something. And there's no, Icelandic people don't like to say no to anything. So that where there's a will, there's a way, we'll always find it. But I just wanted to give you an overview of some of the special things that we've arranged over the years. Excuse me. This is inside the Harper Concert Hall in Reykjavik. It's the Icelandic Philharmonic Orchestra, and it's a private concert that we arranged there. I'm just going to take a little drink. This is a private tented dinner that we set up. We've done a Game of Thrones bachelor party where we got them all changed. They put them into the wilderness, and then we did a scavenger hunt where they ended up in this cabin, had a private dinner with a private chef and a DJ and a party. We've done private camps, more private lunches and dinners out in the middle of nowhere, in caves, inside the volcano, Viking experiences. That's just sort of an idea of what it looks like in the private camps. They can be on land or also on the glacier as well. And then we've done private drinks events inside the glacier or inside the volcano. So like I said before, anything is possible. It doesn't matter how wild the request is, we'll try our hardest. There we go. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I like what you said. There is always somebody that knows somebody. That's
exactly.
really nice. Huh? So
somebody's uncle or cousin or friend.
Well, it's kind of exceptional. We had a question from Ina. Can you, and this I cannot help, can you pronounce the name of the airport slowly, she's asking.
It's Keflavik.
Keflavik, unless maybe you would like to type it in the chat, in the Q&A. Huh? Of course. Then if you can be multitasking, Vivian is asking if the Sky Lagoon is as pricey as the other one.
We're still waiting for their 100% confirmed rates. I don't think it's going to be as pricey as the main lagoon, because they're going to want to be sort of in good competition. And I think as well, obviously with everything that's happened over the past year, they're not going to want to go in on their first year of being extortionate rates.
Mm-hmm. And you have the pricing of the Blue Lagoon retreat in mind?
It is roughly, I'll put that on the email tomorrow when I send out the...
Voilà. We have one more question from Victor. How many days do you recommend to visit all these places in Iceland?
So usually we find if people are coming from further afield or the west coast of the States, we would say sort of 7 to 10 days in the summer months, maybe a few less days in the winter. And then if people have got anything up to 2 weeks, we can fill it easily. So we find in winter, the average is around sort of 5 to 7. And then during the summer, I would believe it's sort of 7, 8, 9 nights on average.
All right, thank you very much. So we have another question. Debbie, you're asking if Iceland is open to tourists.
It is open to European and Schengen visa holders at the moment. Currently, on arrival into Iceland, you take a COVID test and then you go into quarantine. Some of the hotels had to apply to be quarantine hotels. So you quarantine for 5 days. You're only allowed to leave your room once a day for sort of a little bit of exercise. So you have to order all your food into your room. And nobody's allowed in to sort of make over your room or anything. And then after the 5 days, you take another test. And if you're negative, then you're free to roam. But what we're hoping, and the rumors are this week, is from the beginning of May, they're saying anyone that has had COVID or has been vaccinated or has a negative test will be able to enter the country. And what they're going to do is categorize countries into sort of a traffic light system. So if you're coming from a green or sort of yellow amber country, then that's fine. And then countries on the red list are still a no-go. So fingers crossed that happens from the beginning of May.
Yeah. Anna, you're asking, when do you believe the population in Iceland will be vaccinated?
They've started, like all of us vaccinated people, I think like the majority of countries, they're starting with the elder ages and people working in healthcare and sort of vulnerable jobs, and then working their way down. But I don't think it's long. It's not a big population, so it shouldn't take sort of too long, really.
Debbie, you're asking that will that include the US? So I guess that was probably from your question when you said, is Iceland open to tourists yet? So
yeah, so not at the moment for US. We're just waiting for this traffic light system of countries to be introduced. But it sounds like the US are doing exactly, and it sounds like you guys are sort of on the ball with getting people vaccinated. So hopefully that'll then show Iceland that it can move into a sort of a green or an amber list country.
And I see our last question, I think, which is the most recommended month of the year to go over there? That's Catalina is asking.
That's a tricky one because the country is so different from summer to winter. In winter, you've got the rustic beauty and the snow and the rawness of the country. The days are a lot shorter. Obviously, when you sort of get to December 21, the daylight you're looking sort of 3-4 hours. So it becomes more sort of limited what you can do. What the drivers tend to do is you're driving a lot of places in the dark to reach them for when the daylight comes. But then you have the advantage of the northern lights in those winter months.
No.
The summer months, the country is a lot greener, that it's full of bloom. You've got 24 hours of daylight. You can do a lot more activities and things. So it sort of depends. My favorite month is June in Iceland. I love June, but winter is very magical. So we usually find that people end up coming twice because the country's so different in different seasons.
And they can't decide where they want, or they want
exactly. They come in the summer and say, "Oh my God, this is amazing! We have to come back," and vice versa. So,
Debbie, one more question: are masks required, and then indoor dining?
So they've just, for Icelandic people at the moment, they relaxed their rules, so they're allowed to meet up to groups of 20. So sporting events and restaurants are all sort of opening. They are recommending people to wear masks, but obviously, like every country, these rules are sort of changing regularly. But you know, once the tourists come into the country, we'll keep up to date with what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing to advise before they arrive there.
And indoor dining versus, well, I know you're in winter. So
yeah, they didn't really have a proper sort of. Yeah, they didn't really have a full shutdown in Iceland. They were very lucky. So a lot of the restaurants did sort of stay open and just sort of limited people. And then they sort of had like a second wave, like everyone did, and they got a little bit stricter. But now they're sort of loosening it up a bit. And yeah, the boys that I own the company with in Iceland seem to be living a very, compared to us in the UK, normal life. So it's good. It's just then that they know they need to open the door slowly to let people in.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah. I don't see any more questions. So I think you covered everything, spoke about special moments, activity, what to see. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us
Thank you, everybody.
for the wonderful webinar. And I'm grateful that you find them much interesting and you're coming back for each of them. Huh? So we will have more in the week to come. Tomorrow we have an Insta Live. Kelly Marks from the Hotel Essentia will be showing up the new spa suite at the Hotel Essentia at 2 p.m. Huh? Perfect. So thank you again. Buenas tardes, boa tarde. Huh? And thank you, Sarah, for staying up late for us. And
No
we'll
problem
see you again on another webinar. Huh? Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
See you all soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.